The biggest YouTuber in the world uses a $500 point-and-shoot camera to film most of his YouTube videos.
Personally, I don't like super high quality cameras. I prefer it to look a little more amateur.
In today's consumerist culture, it's easy to be distracted by all the latest tech. We've got phones, cameras, cars, gaming consoles, and these just scratch the surface. There has literally been a study done about the must-have effect, in which people intentionally break or damage their current device to justify upgrading to the newest model. Be honest, have you done this? I can say from experience that video creators are not immune to the must-have culture. But here's the secret. Cameras don't tell stories. People do. In this video, I'm gonna share 2 strategies that I've learned from MrBeast to share better stories without worrying about gear. Hi everyone, my name is Craig and I'm a film director and producer. Today we are talking about gear and story, and I want to start out with a story of my own. One of my favorite films I've ever made happened to be only a minute long, and the majority of it was shot on my iPhone XR, which is a 4.5-year-old smartphone camera. My wife and I found out that we were pregnant, which was a bit of a surprise to us, to say the least. But here are the few months that followed that moment.
No. I'm kind of confused.
No, wait, what?
Ooh.
This was unexpected, let me tell you that.
High five. Oh, that's cute.
Come closer to me.
My heart is beating.
Really?
You want to find out now?
It's in this sweet little envelope. Don't look too closely. You take it out and flip it around, okay? Ready? 3, 2, 1. That video is just so special to me, and now we have a precious son who I get to hold each day, and I'm just so thankful that I have this footage and I took it on my phone. And you can see behind me, maybe you can see some of the shelving back here. I love camera gear, I love audio gear and tech. Most creators I know are fascinated at the innovations and camera technology over the last few years. There's literally never been a better time to enter the creative field and pick up high quality and affordable equipment. So I want to talk about these 2 tips that I learned from watching MrBeast just blow up on YouTube over the last 5 to 8 years or so. So tip number 1 is all about pre-production planning. Good videos don't just happen. You have to prepare for them. All great storytelling follows some sort of story arc where you have a beginning and a middle and an end. MrBeast tends to dive right into the action with his videos, but always builds towards a climax at the end. This is a great strategy for audience retention and increasing watch time and engagement on his content. For this video, specifically, I mapped out the intro to be super compelling, and then my goal here is to get viewers more interested to hear more. Then I got relatable with a personal story about my son's birth and finding out that we're pregnant. And then finished up here with these practical lessons I learned from MrBeast. So the beauty about planning is that with good planning, the camera you shoot doesn't really matter. What matters is the story and the structure of that story. Audiences are more interested in the content than the way it looks. But sure, you know, shooting on a great camera can help, and it sometimes provides just like a sense of professionalism. But sometimes a more relatable way of filmmaking is to just use the tools that your audience have access to and use those instead of making it, you know, the priority be about gear and tech. So that's tip number 1, is to really focus on planning, pre-production planning, and your story. Okay, tip number 2 is that if the story is not there, if you get to the end of your production and editing and you realize the story just isn't there, don't be afraid to scrap the video idea. MrBeast has spent millions of dollars on content that has never been released because the story just didn't live up to the standard that his audience has grown to expect. So when you operate at such a high level that MrBeast and his team operate at, you can't afford to put out poor content. And although it may have cost them like hundreds of thousands of dollars in production expenses, they would rather eat that cost of production rather than the cost of losing the trust of their audience. So it's kind of a weird dynamic. And I know there's like kind of a double-edged sword here because you don't want to put out content that you're not proud of. But on the flip side, especially when you're first starting out, you need to put out content even if the content isn't perfect. And there's a quote that I like, which is, perfect is the enemy of complete or completed. And you know, MrBeast has a ton of his old videos still up on his YouTube channel, and a lot of those old videos are just really bad. And it took him a really long time to get those bad videos out of his system to be afforded the luxury of scrapping millions of dollars worth of video ideas. Personal story, when I started shooting concerts, I posted a ton of pretty bad photos and really bad videos until I finally started to understand how to make better content. And then after that period of growth, my audience grew to expect a certain level of excellence, and I wouldn't put out a video that didn't live up to that standard. So once you build up an audience, story and content matter just as much as the amount of content you put out, if not more. So all this to say, be sure to focus on increasing the value of your story, not just the value of your equipment. These are the 2 tips that I've learned from watching a ton of MrBeast content over the years. And if you want to learn how to book high-paying clients, check out this video right here. And thanks so much for taking time to watch this video. If you enjoyed it, feel free to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you in the next video. Much love.